I consider myself spiritual but not religious, and I have certain practices and beliefs that define this identity for me. But I'm trying to figure out what spirituality means to other people. So I did some research and I found something pretty fascinating, and it has to do with nature. Most Americans consider themselves spiritual, but within that group you can either be religious or non-religious, like myself. But here's where it gets interesting. When you look at how both groups define spirituality, religious adults tend to emphasize a connection with God, which is not that surprising. But there's one belief that SBNRs hold way more strongly, and it's the idea that nature is essential to spirituality, which I find both surprising and not surprising at the same time. Surprising because as SBNRs, we tend to pride ourselves on individualized spirituality. We pick and choose what resonates most with us on a personal level. But if so many of us are drawn to nature, maybe there is something more universal about being SBNR than we tend to believe, which is also not that surprising. For me and so many people I know, nature really can create that deep sense of spiritual connection. And indigenous cultures have recognized this relationship for thousands of years. So maybe being spiritual but not religious isn't as individual as we might think. Because in some ways, this shared connection to nature is less about rejecting tradition and more about returning to the oldest ones. It almost sounds like animism. But what do you think?